Hello everybody, and this is just a brief recap and the second part of the video that I posted yesterday. So today is the 5th of January 2018, it's Friday. It's almost time to close the markets and close the latest positions, and I wanted to just show you a brief final episode that from time to time occurs in Forex, which normally occurs around 3:30 in the afternoon, and after some hours from the beginning of the American session. And probably some of you get trapped into that high spike that we got by the sudden strength of CAD towards other currencies. Unluckily or luckily, I don't know, but I was not on the computer. I was out making some stuff, and I just arrived home, and opening the platform I noticed, of course, with the big spike of CAD, we can see here CAD got stronger than any other currency. Okay, I was a bit rushing on the things and trying to understand what would have been possible to be done, and noticed that when these elements occur, like we are having a situation where we should buy CAD and sell, I don't know, Japanese yen, but the big move has already happened, and we are in this area. For example, we have to consider that the big move has already happened. And if you notice, my algorithm even today respected, for example, what I was posting. Please take a look at the previous video for all the specifications of the graphical module that I am building. And even in this case, these levels, the blue line and orange line, that was that is a formulation from the previous day activity, was rejecting the price above. Even in this case, we see this line has never been violated, and the price continued, in this case on the CAD yen, to grow and grow and grow until we got a spike. And this morning and first afternoon I was out all of the day, so I couldn't monitor the situation, but I was in the surroundings here when I come back home. So when I was home, I decided to read the situation of the markets, but this time not in the higher time frames, because they have already expressed the move, and I decided to focus on the lower time frames, so on the 30 minutes, 15, 1 hour. Okay, and in this case, even if now we see at half an hour there is a kind of CAD that is still strong but is decreasing, and I was captured by some values that then came later also in other currencies, but particularly was inverted the situation. So CAD was decreasing and Japanese yen and US dollar were getting strong in the lower time frames this time, because of course in the higher time frames we have to expect something probably next week, I don't know, but we are in the end of the week, and it's Friday, so we are about, now the markets, the American session has just closed, and then we have 2 days off of the weekend. So we cannot, at least for what it's my way of trading, I avoid and try to close as much as possible all the positions before the ending of the markets. Okay, so in this example I'm showing you that in this case we can of course think like we have missed the opportunity of this big spike up, or in the case of USD CAD, here is another example of these two barriers that are still painted by my algorithm based on the previous day activity in a kind of formulation. Even in this case, for example, the price started and opened the day at this level, went up, and the moment arrived to this threshold, the price started to float and ranging, for then not violating and going higher, but then was rejected down like a kind of resistance, and then in this case the bump down because of the CAD so strong against the US dollar. So normally if we are here, then we can think, okay, but in the higher time frames CAD is strong, but now the higher time frames for the day are done, and we should focus on the lower time frame, like the 50-minute charts, for example, or the 30-minute charts, or the 5-minute charts, and just to see if we can get some retracements, significant retracements. And at this moment, for example, we see that Japanese yen and US dollar are stronger than CAD, and even if it's showing some strength, is a decreasing strength. 21, the previous value of 3-4 minutes ago, 17 and 12, so is decreasing. And Japanese yen and US dollar are floating and increasing. Okay, so there is the opposite, there is a kind of confirmation that for a shorter move, CAD yen and USD CAD are going higher, but until what point? At least this calculation, this line of calculation, it's now showing me a possible target for stopping my trade. In fact, for example, in the Aussie that now is very weak, we can see in the cross Aussie CAD, the moment the price arrived to the calculation for this pair, even Aussie CAD went down. Okay, around these lines are not precise lines like every line we do. They represent an area of price action. Okay, but take a look how the Aussie CAD, Aussie was strong from the day before, went very fast up until this point, and once has reached this point, there was a kind of stop. So we can think about stop the trade at this level and then close the trades for today. So I am expecting a bit of extra move for USD CAD and CAD yen that I am actually trading in for this retracement, and then to close the trades. Just to show you that I am always in the same account and in the same move, this is the very first account. If you can compare with the video that I posted yesterday, this was the first statement, and this is the second one. With you can always check also the profit that has been made with the trades, and also the floating profit of the open trades of yesterday. And that was the final balance of yesterday when I closed the trades. In fact, then currencies were ranging so that they were retracing, all of them, and I just have now these trades running. I made a little test with CAD yen and USD CAD in sell and in buy today. See, here the trades are of the 4th, and here are starting the trades of the 5th. And then I took positions, and keeping positions, this was a statement of some hours ago, 1 hour ago. So now I can make a detailed report for what is the situation now, which is a little bit increased profit for what is running. Okay, and I should have somehow waited a bit more, but really I would like to close the positions before the ending of the markets, so this can be enough anyway as a final move. Let's take a look, because CAD is somehow having some strength anyway. Okay, so it could be a final in the case of USD, a final strength for then weakening and reach this point, or it can be enough because every currency and cross are behaving differently. But what is good to see is that even if we are missing maybe the big chance because we entered the trades too much late, and it can happen because we're not always in front of the screen and we're not always trading, or we're doing also other things, but there's also the opportunity if it happens that that the main move has already been done, qualifying the values that we are seeing here. The moment, for example, I take the weekly chart or the daily chart and I say, okay, CAD and Japanese yen buy, okay, CAD and USD buy, okay, but then I go in the CAD Japanese yen and I am here or here, and I should think about, shall I have to buy? With this big move already been done, we're talking about, let's do an average, 113 pips in 10-15 minutes. So that was already a big move, and probably there will be an oscillation time now. I don't know. I always prefer not to know and read instead of supposing too much and then be too much sure of my suppositions without any kind of support from math. Math for me is essential to have a confirmation of the behaviors that are running into the trades and the behaviors that are running into the price action. So all this said, no matter if it's reach, it will reach or not, because we have to understand that for example, there are currency pairs that are behaving and there are more liquid at this hour, and other currencies that are less liquid, and therefore they can appreciate or depreciate depending also on other factors. So what I will do, it's 23:30, so it takes just less than half an hour to close the markets, and probably also the volatility can increase at this point. So I will close my trades just to make a really final report for this week, and show you what the result is. Okay, so this was the final ending of an approach that has been traded for a ranging situation, that then, if you see the currencies that I traded in the day of yesterday, this currency were totally different from the currencies of today, because CAD came out very fast. But let's say, for example, that I am in this situation where I'm trading these currencies. Of course, I don't have any chart with CAD open, right? Because I'm having GBP New Zealand dollar, GBP Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, yen, right? So how can I think about stopping something and focus on other things if I have just these charts where CAD is not present? But the moment I have this algorithm running, and like in the daily situation, and I see that this value increased that much from, I don't know, was about 50, 70 to 500, while other currencies behaved totally different. Even euro could have been, or in Aussie and New Zealand dollar, all these currencies were somehow having a kind of big move against CAD, because CAD got a strong appreciation in a very few minutes, and I think I was lucky not to be there, because otherwise I should have been said lucky if I was in this time frame, okay, at around this hour, so I could have hypothesized for a move down the moment I was looking at this kind of ranging around this area for USD CAD and for this area that was violated, never violated with CAD yen, for example. But as I was in these surroundings, and also taking a bit of in consideration volumes for as regard the spike that then saturated and then the price started to retrace, I decided to take the opposite trading, which is somehow risky because there can be a lot of fluctuations. It depends on what currencies we are taking in consideration. But I was always differentiating my risk by having a common element, which was CAD, and two opposite currencies, USD and yen, that by the algorithm in the lower time frames were revealing kind of reaction with strength, while CAD in the half an hour time frame was decreasing. Now the situation, it could be a ranging situation in this half an hour that can happen a lot of moves. I can maybe, take even a bit more of profit, or I can also lose, because probably the price can also be rejected down, and I have to consider that I am in a retracement phase and I have to be very careful. So this is more a scalping situation, okay, compared to a long trade where this move should have happened. But anyway, revealed some profitability, and this is another way to use the reading of the markets in the multiple time frame. That's why let me just close some charts that I don't need, but in this case let's do this. Normally the the main asset is this one. So having 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours, day, week and month. I start to analyze these charts first, always, and then focus on the crosses that are coming out from the evaluation of these charts. But the moment then I decide to open the charts, I take a look if the move that I am expecting to have has already happened, or there is no such a big move yet, so it is more likely and with more high probability that something can happen. I was late, I missed this opportunity, but I tried anyway to figure out something like this for USD CAD in retracement and for CAD Yen as well in the retracement. So sometimes there are opportunities, and opportunities are every day. Of course, it would have been better to get this move and get out here and have fun later for the rest of the evening. But as my time today was completely different and I was not at the computer since 3:34 that hour, what else I could have done more than taking in consideration a possible anyway big retracement, because we are talking somehow of 50 pips that can have a good reward if well played. And yeah, this is 43, along with some kind of confirmation. See, now in 50-minute charts we're having CAD again getting somehow strong and Japanese yen getting weak again, and US dollar quite stable. So with less than 20 minutes from the closing of the markets, there can be a final move that can inspire and make more confusion in the traders. But for me, it's finished today, and this is the very ending of this trade example for this first week of January 2018. Of course, as usual, I invite you to check out on your MetaTrader platform the values, the positions, the charts, whatever you may want to analyze. And I also wanted to make this video for giving you a monthly view at the end of the week with my method, a weekly view, so then you can stop and take note, stop the video and then replay it and take note, a daily, and the 4 hour, and of course the setup next week can be completely different or can be confirmed. But as usual, on Monday we should not trade, or at least understand the new setup of the markets that will take for that week, considering even the day before. And as we have 2 days of darkness, which is the weekend, where banks are closed and all the activities are closed, and maybe there can be a new event or something that can influence certain currencies, I think that we have to take with some kind of careful approach the very first hours of Monday. So we don't have to expect to trade immediately, or that these values will be the same. but anyway they can be a kind of referiment, especially if we think about the weekly and the monthly, and then we see how the currency behaves. Like I said, the move can already be done, but there are also opportunities of trade that can be realized the moment in the lower time frames. In this case, there is a kind of confirmation in the opposite direction that is stable for at least some hours. With this said, as usual, I wish you good time and space, and I thank you for watching and for the supporting. I received a lot of mails yesterday, and I hope some of them I replied, other were asking me other questions. Some questions were also about having a vision of the markets of today, and I think that with this video also I implemented and showed you some new values, and also shown you that these calculations that are done on the previous day are quite a good referiment also for having a vision of where the price is and what kind of price action we can expect. And with this said, I wish you a very good weekend and a very good start of the next week. Bye.